Welcome everyone, this is our Wednesday Wisdom where we go over tips, tricks, and information on band instrument repair. Today is the second Wednesday of this guy, No Stick November, where we're going to give away a different prize each week related to non-stickiness. So this week we are giving away a pair of our UltiMax lubricants in a syringe, which is super handy. And then this last week we were going to give away the set of 3 UltiMax oils, the low, medium, and high. Oh, very nice. Thank you, Ryan.
These actual ones.
That is the actual ones that we're going to go give away. And the winner from last week is Brian James. Brian James, make sure you contact me, Rich, R-I-C-H, at MusicMedic.com. Send me an email, and we will get your set of UltiMax oils over to you. Now, if you want to get in on these giveaways, make sure you take the hashtag NoStickNovember, put it in the comments below, and each week we will draw from one of you and get you the prize. So next week we will be working on the UltiMax greases.
All I got to do is contact you.
I'll just make sure, and if you're a winner, Brian, make sure that you get up with me so I can get you your prize. And we've got one other announcement. Ryan's got a key fitting course coming up on December the 10th.
I do.
And
I do.
Yes, you do. And
December 10th.
We've got people signing up for it. So check the newsletter to get a discount on tuition, or just go to MusicMedic.com and sign up under the education section. It is the advanced key fitting is something else. Key fitting course, and that's only a day course, right? It's
yes,
an 8-hour course.
Yep, 8 hours.
So you can sign up for that and get your advanced key fitting on. Now, Ryan, today we are going to go over tips and tricks of the UltiMax system.
Yes, there
we're
it is.
We're going to go the UltiMax system.
Whoa, there it is.
So
UltiMax.
these are a set of synthetic oils and greases. They are chemically inert. They're safe to use in combination along with other greases and oils in your shop. UltiMax won't evaporate, it won't creep, and it almost will repel dirt.
Almost.
That's what we heard.
Yes, we were talking about that the other day. Yeah, other traditional petroleum-based oils, it tends to kind of draw in the dirt. You can see there, it draws in the dirt. With the UltiMax, it tends to repel the dirt. So we don't want to draw in the dirt. We want to repel that dirt.
So Ryan, why don't we go over some tips and tricks on how to use these oils?
Absolutely.
And why don't you go ahead and describe? I didn't tell them that there's the different viscosities and how they work and how
Yes, the 3 different viscosities. So we have a low viscosity. So it's kind of watery. Oh, there it is. Sorry. I'm sorry. I was at the wrong camera. Here we go. So this is the low viscosity. So this is the lightest oil. You can see it's very kind of liquidy, more like water. Obviously, it's all liquidy, but this is more liquidy than the rest. And then we have our medium key oil. You can see the viscosity on that is a little bit thicker. And then finally, we have our high viscosity, and this stuff is the thickest of them all. It's not quite like syrup, not like maple syrup, but it is much, much thicker than the low viscosity. And there are applications you would want to use the low, the medium, and the high. Okay, so if it's something like a smaller instrument, okay, let's say like a piccolo or an oboe, something with very small, delicate like key work, you would maybe want to use the low viscosity, so the thinnest oil, to really get in between those tight spaces in between the key work. I tend to have to use low viscosity when I do key fitting. Especially that you've swedged the hinge tube around the rod tighter, you need a slightly thinner oil. So usually, if it's a smaller instrument, something that's been key fit fairly tight, low viscosity is what I go with. Kind of my go-to all around is the medium viscosity, and I'll use that for just about everything. It works for saxophones, flutes, clarinets, just about anything. For the high viscosity, I would use this maybe, let's say, on older vintage horns that have been around, student horns. Maybe the key work isn't as tight as what it could be. The high viscosity is going to get in between those big gaps, and it's going to prevent, it's going to actually cut out some of that noise, that clicking and clacking you hear with the high viscosity. So you have the oils, your low, your medium, and your high. And like you mentioned, the great thing about the UltiMax system, it really is a system. So I know guys have complained, well, I don't like the high viscosity, it's too thick. Well, if you want, you can add some medium to it and make like a medium high. Or you can add some low to it and make it like a high low. Okay. I'm just throwing these names out, folks. You don't have to use it. If you don't like it, just send it on back. Ryan at MusicMedic.com. But you can tailor your own viscosities for what you want.
And then Ryan, we also have like if you do get into making your own, because I know some technicians do that. Show them the little bottle. We have a couple of little bottles that you can use.
That's right.
Like I think because of the vaping industry, these are kind of more widely available. But we sell a set vaping industry.
The vaping industry.
Amazing that it's an
That's a thing. That's a thing now.
It is a thing, but we've got a set of these bottles. A bunch of them come in there. I don't even know how many that is, but
Nobody can count. Nobody can do that.
It comes with labels, and it comes with a little flask.
It's a funnel.
Sorry, flask
funnel.
funnel.
Funnel for your flask.
Funnel for your flask.
Again, folks.
But yeah, you can use those, and that's very handy to use, so you can make your own viscosity.
Absolutely, very
and,
easy.
Of course, the bottles are reusable and all that good stuff. And because UltiMax is a food grade, food safe oil. By the way, that means that it's used on machines that process food. You don't actually cook with it.
Right.
But you can use it and then just put your grain alcohol right into your little, flask or whatever you want to do. So that's
whatever your drink is, whatever you need to nip on. There.
Handy tip.
Get by there.
Handy tip.
Extra bonus tip. Bonus tip.
All right, right. So we've gone over the oils and their different viscosities. We can combine them. Let's talk about the greases.
The greases, yes. So oils, we're out of here. So we have, I guess, two different types of greases and kind of two ways to apply them. So you have your pivot and roller lubricant, and then you also have your Cork lubricant. Again, this is all part of that UltiMax system, so you can all kind of mix them together, create your own viscosity. The pivot and roller lubricant, if I open that up and show you here, it is very thick. You can see it's almost like honey. Okay, and this is great for if you have noisy rollers on your saxophone. These guys right here. Okay, if they click back and forth as you play, if they back and forth, the pivot and roller lubricant is great for that, for silencing your rollers. And obviously being a thicker grease, it's good for pivot screws as well. Okay. And then we also have traditional Cork lubricant. You can use this on your Cork grease. Wow, this one, somebody's been using this. You won't win this, folks. It's a half full. I'm an optimist. It's half full. It's a half full thing of Cork grease. It's not half empty.
What's cool about the Cork lubricant is that it is just a very thick viscosity of the oils.
Yes,
so
exactly.
It's completely safe to use. It's the same chemical composition as the oils. It's just much thicker, so you can use them in conjunction with the oils, and that can also be used on key work. So Ryan, why don't we also show them your dipping grease?
The dipping. Even before we do that, we're going to go over the syringes. Although we will go over.
Yes, please.
The dipping grease, the syringes. So basically, what we have, you have these little. I don't know how big. An ounce, 2 ounces.
Quarter. I think they're a quarter.
Quarter ounce. Thank you, Rich.
Or quarter, half ounce.
Look at this guy. He's on the math today.
Used my funnel this morning.
That's right. We also have them available in these very easy to use syringes, and I absolutely love these, especially this pivot and roller lubricant when I'm greasing up a saxophone, squirting it in the end of the hinge tubes, okay, rather than trying to do something with this. And again, the Cork lubricant comes in that as well, so it's just a very handy way. And I will show you. I'll do some oiling and some greasing here, and we'll get into doing some dip and grease. So. All right, so what are we oiling up today, Rich?
We're gonna oil up. What do you have?
What do you got? What do you got?
I think that they should see the pivot roller in a hinge tube. If you can do that,
let's do that.
That seems like a good.
We got a saxophone here. There it is. So let's see. We're gonna do it in a pivoted key. So I'm gonna take this one right here. I'm gonna use this low C. Okay, I'm going to.
While you're doing that, I'm going to say what's up to Ian Sim.
Shout outs. Get your shout outs in.
And Kojak. Is Kojak also Ian Sim?
He has a lot of aliases.
Ian's got more than one alias.
Yeah.
So is that Alii?
Alii.
Alii. It's early here. It's early here, guys.
It is. We had some technical difficulties with our computer, but you know, we worked through it. We
did.
powered through it.
Yeah. So we got the C key off.
So we got the C key off. So again, this is where you would put your pivot and roller lubricant, but because we have that syringe, it's very easy. Let's go to the super up close. There we go. We can see it.
So you just take and that tip is plastic, so a lot of technicians might trim that if they need it.
Mm-hmm.
Or
So just like that, and I'm gonna
just a dab.
just a dab will do you, just there like that. And so you can see I basically just put a dab right in the end of that hinge tube, right where the pivot screw. This is again pivot screw lubricant. You want something a little bit thicker for your pivot screws, although you can still use, you know, your high viscosity oil.
So the grease acts as kind of like a bearing surface, right?
It does, yeah. It obviously provides lubricant. The other thing it does, if you have just maybe a little bit of key wobble, okay, just a little bit, that grease will get in there and kind of keep things from clicking back and forth. There we are.
Very cool.
Greased up, ready to go.
Let's show them how to the dip in grease.
The dip and grease. So this is my system. This is how I actually oil up key work here in the Sax ProShop. So I'm going to do it on this side. Actually, no. You know what? I'm going to do it on this palm.
Okay.
I'm going to mix it up.
Sweet.
I know in rehearsal we did the side key, but you know I'm pulling an audible here, Rich. I don't care.
Well,
Who
you know,
knows?
to each his own.
Yep. It's Wednesday, so if I could get this, here we go.
I'm going to switch camera angles. Let's see what it's going to just be the bottom of the horn, and then
This nice little soprano over here.
oh yeah, let me show.
Oh, look at this! Look at this thing, guys. Ooh, look at that. Who wants
Nice.
that? First come, first serve. Okay, so I got my key off. Okay, and what I like to use, rather than using just an oil, you know, high, medium, low, I like to use my method of dipping, some dipping grease. Okay, and for this, I like to use my Cork lubricant. I know it's on a rod. Okay, it's okay, folks. It's okay.
So you're going to take.
I'm going to take a little bit of
grease?
this Cork lubricant and I'm going to dip it in. And the reason why I dip it in is because I want to make sure I coat those threads. Okay, this is especially an instrument that has been sitting for a while. You know, old vintage saxophone sitting in your grandmother's attic. You know, the oil dries out, and this is really where rods get stuck, is in the basically the screws or the threads. So I'm just going to dip a little bit, and you can see I don't use much, just enough to coat the threads. And then what I'll do is I'll take just a dab of, and again, it's kind of, you know, user preference. I like to use the majority of the time the medium key oil. And I will just use a little dab right on top of that little bit of Cork lubricant. And then I will work it in the hinge tube. I'll make sure, obviously, I'll clean this all out, get all the old oils and greases. But the nice thing about the UltiMax, it's not going to react. It's completely inert, so it's not going to separate. It's not going to do weird things when it, you know, comes in contact with whatever original oil or grease is on there. So I just kind of put that through, run that through the hinge tube to oil things up. The other thing I can do, and if you saw us last week, our No Stick November.
That's right.
When we went over the Teflon sheet, this right here has a little bit of Teflon in it. Okay, I don't have to worry about oiling now my flat spring because I have my Teflon in there. If this didn't have Teflon in here, I'd probably use a little bit of this lubricant, just boom, right there in the spring cradle. Okay, so now I'm going to reattach my key, just like so.
Now, are you, so you don't spread the oil or the grease out on the hinge rod before you put it in?
Nope. It's gonna spread just by working that rod in there, and it just spreads out.
Gotcha. Good
There we are.
visual there. Yeah.
Everything's oiled and greased.
Very cool.
Okay, obviously, I took the key off to do this, but there are other ways that you can do if you're just doing general maintenance stuff. If you're a player and you're coming to, you know, just to oil your horn, you know, once every 2 months or once every month or however often it needs, You know, another way to do it is just to get it basically, I can do it, I'll use this as an example since it's a little bit easier to see. What you're trying to do is you're just trying to put oil between those two contact surfaces, so between the post face and the end of the hinge rod. And I'm just going to take this needle oiler, there we go, switch to this guy right here, and just a little dab, like I said, in between the post and the hinge rod, or in the hinge tube rather. So that's a way to oil your saxophone without having to completely take it apart.
And that's something that you can do on any woodwind instrument.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah, you can
flute,
do it on
clarinet.
flute. You can do it on clarinet.
Cool. And then Ryan, we do have a question about maybe from like technicians who are doing a lot of playing condition work, or they got to burn through a bunch of stuff. The big question that I hear or see is, do you disassemble an instrument to lubricate it or not disassemble it? When and what situations should you do that in?
If you're bringing your instrument to your tech, he should be disassembling your instrument, and it's part of that COA, that clean oil and adjust. It's the O part of the COA, so it's the oil part. So if you're bringing your instrument to a technician, he should be completely disassembling whatever work he's doing. It's really important again to make sure you clean out all the old oil.
That's right. Or she, or they.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, them.
That's
they,
right.
Make sure they clean out all the oil. For that, I like to use pipe cleaners, which I do have an extra bonus tip.
Oh, bonus tips. Sweet.
Bonus tip involved in pipe cleaners, which I really like, again, to use to clean the inside of the hinge tubes. But these are also great to prevent a lot of drippage on your bottle of key oil. Okay, it doesn't matter what you use. A lot of times this oil will kind of start to ooze out of this needle oiler, and then it gets on your bottle, and then your fingers get all oily, and then your saxophone gets all oily, and then nobody's happy.
Right.
Okay, except for the oil industry. They're just laughing all the way to the bank. But so what you can do with one of these pipe cleaners is I wrap it around the end of
Oh, that's why you do
the
that.
nozzle like this. And you can see what I've done there. So when this drips down, and it drips down the cap, it gets absorbed by this pipe cleaner. And then your fingers stay nice and dry. Just like that.
That's really cool.
So there you go, pipe cleaners. Folks, if you use this technique, you got to send me a nickel every time you use it.
Or you could take No Stick
No Stick November, there it is. There it is, folks.
Take No Stick November, put that in the comments below so that you can be entered into the drawing to win the UltiMax greases. And
No pipe cleaners included.
Get yourself a set of pipe cleaners. We sell them at MusicMedic.com as well. Yes, we do, sir. We've got a little bit of everything for everybody. Also, you can contact me, Rich, at MusicMedic.com if you would like a sample of the UltiMax greases. We can get them to you. I have tiny little samples that last probably for 5 years if you're a player. But if you're a technician, it's a great chance, an opportunity to kind of test these out in your shop. They're chemically inert, so they're safe to use with whatever other oils that you have in your shop. So if you have a petroleum-based product and you would want to use that, it is safe to use as well.
Yeah, it really is a great system. Some oils have a weird smell to them. This does not.
No smell.
No smell.
Maybe we'll do No Smell December.
Oh, I think that's it. I think that's it. Oh, we'll sell products that don't have a smell to them.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for us. This has been our Wednesday Wisdom, where we do share tips, tricks, and information on band instrument repair. Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to these live streams and our regular content that we're putting out so we can keep doing that for you. That's going to do it for now. Make sure you put No Stick November in the comments below to be entered into the drawing. And until next time, happy repairing.